Christy.
Pounding heart, sweating, stomach upset, nausea, dizziness or the feeling you're going to pass out, hyperventilation. Can anybody tell me what these are the symptoms of?
Public speaking.
Panic attack.
Anxiety disorder and panic attacks, which are a few things that I suffer from. So today I want to tell you how I overcame that for this class, what I've taken away from this class, and a little bit about my portfolio. This is my portfolio, and what a more perfect picture. This is Anxiety Girl. She's able to jump to the worst conclusions in a single bound. So the first thing I want to tell you a little bit about is the anxiety disorder and the panic attack. Something that I've dealt with for 12 years after the birth of my first daughter. And unless you've ever dealt with it or suffered from it, which I don't know if any of you have, it's a debilitating and horrible thing to deal with. I remember when they told me that this was a requirement for my program, I thought of every way I could get out of this class, and I even contemplated dropping my program and giving up because I thought there's no possible way I can do this. So the first day rolled around and he told us exactly what he expected of us, and it instantly sent me into an anxiety attack. I was panicked, and I knew there was no way I could do it. I went home and I told my mom, I said, I'm going to give up, I'm going to quit. And she talked to me a little bit and told me, it's just an obstacle. It's something you have to face and try. You don't even know unless you try. So I did. In my first speech, I'll never forget, as I walked up here, I was trembling from the inside out. I thought, there's no way I'm going to do this. As I got up here and looked out at the audience, the room started to spin, and I was certain not only was I going to make a fool out of myself, I was going to faint and scare everybody in the class and look like a fool. But I shook my way through it, and I trembled all the way through it, and those 2 to 4 minutes couldn't go any faster, so I could race back and get to my seat and compose myself. But I managed to get through it, and with each time it got a little bit easier, and I felt a little bit more comfortable. And I'll never forget the time Allie gave me the comment, I believe it was on my 3rd or my 4th speech. Afterwards she said, not only did I own her attention, I owned the floor. And that was amazing for me to hear because I never thought I'd get through speech 1, let alone have somebody tell me that I own the floor. And so I took that and I ran with it. And I thought, as nervous as I am, maybe they don't know. And if I pretend I'm all right and get through it, nobody will ever know. And I heard that comment again. As I walked through a room full of people, it was actually at a restaurant, a lady I know made a comment and she said, she said, I have to tell you, she said, when you walk through this place, your head's held high and you look like you own the place. You look like you're so comfortable and so confident in yourself. And I told her, I said, it's the exact opposite. As I walk through the place, I think of who's staring at me, what do they think of me, what does everybody see when they're looking at me? And so it was amazing for me to see that I could suppress that. I could hide that, and with a little bit of confidence, nobody would ever know that I was truly dying on the inside. The next thing I want to tell you is what I've taken away from this class. One of the biggest things is confidence. I realized how a little bit of confidence can get you a long ways. And that ties into that. When you walk into a room of people, or you walk into the front of a room of people, though you feel like everybody's staring at you, or you want to crawl under the table, if you have a little bit of confidence and you walk in there like, you're doing all right, you own the place, you feel good, you've got this, they may never know. They may look at you like Allie did, like I felt like I owned the place, or like I walked around here like I own the stage. So that was a huge obstacle for me to overcome. And I realized that fears or anxieties are just obstacles to overcome. Had I never faced my fears, had I just dropped this, I would have given up a lot of things that I'd tried really hard for one little fear. It could have completely ruined the rest of my life if I'd let it overcome me. The third thing I want to tell you a little bit about is my portfolio. As I looked over the rubrics that I had been given, the first thing I noticed was my eye contact. I remember one of the comments on the first thing was, be sure to scan your audience and look at your audience. As I watched my video recordings, I realized that I don't think I ever looked at the audience. I read my speech to the lectern and not to the people sitting in front of me. When I watched a speech, you'd have never known that I was speaking to anybody but myself. And as I went through the rubrics, each time got a little bit better. You know, there was little comments about eye contact, but towards the end, thorough scanning of your audience. That's something that I took from the beginning and slowly progressed and improved over. The other thing was lip smacking. Now I know I heard somebody else talk about that. In one speech, I had 15 lip smacks. What? You know, lip smacking. I don't think I ever had under 5, so I'm curious. I'm still not quite sure. I watched my speech. I don't know if it's when I lick my lips or what it is. But I was apparently doing a lot of it. Lip smacking more than I was speaking, I guess. And if I had all the money for the 27-cent and 25-cent terms that I gave over the last 7 speeches, I think we'd all be rich, because I have multiple 27-cent terms. Hypothesis, envisioning, all kinds of big words that apparently I didn't realize were big words. So the other things I would like to share with you were my humor. Actually, I'd like to share some of my periodic thoughts first. Week 1 ties into what I just told you. It says, I really don't want to do this. How can I get out of it? I never thought I'd make it through week 1, let alone make it to almost week 10. Week 10 are we in now? My second week says, writing the first speech was easy, but how am I going to get in front of the room and give it to him? That was my significant individual speech, and it's easy to write a speech on your dad, but to get up here and give it to you guys was one of the hardest things I've ever done, to be honest. Week 5 says, almost halfway through the quarter, I didn't think I'd ever make it here. But then I was starting to realize that maybe I could actually do this, and I was actually going to finish. Week 6 is right around the corner. Feel so unprepared. I'll be so glad when this is over. Procrastination was something that I'm known for, and I don't know if it's because I'm a full-time single mom with 3 kids, so time is not a word in my world. So finding the time, but I did. I found the time and got through it. And the last one says, yay, speech 6 is over. I didn't do too bad. Now to work on this portfolio. Though it looks put together now, procrastination was the key, and I have many late nights getting this portfolio put together. One thing I want to share is humor. It's been a serious speech, so I want to share a little humor. My daughter, 4 years old at the time, we were shopping. We were in line to pay for groceries, and there was a gentleman in front of us who was a little on the overweight side. So my 4-year-old, in her not so quiet 4-year-old voice, which if you have kids you know about, exclaims, "Mommy, look, he has a baby in his tummy."
Oh no.
Because I'm expecting my next daughter at this time. And I turn around and quietly say, "No, he doesn't. Now please be quiet." And again, in a louder and even not so quieter voice, she yells out, "Then why does his tummy look like that?" At this point, I'm willing to crawl under the counter if I could, and if there wasn't behind me, I would have grabbed my cart and ran. But I couldn't. So in a not so nice voice, I lean over and I say, "Because he eats too much. Now, be quiet." I never made eye contact with the man again. He checked out his groceries. We checked out ours, and I hoped I would never see the man again. As we walked around the corner, who was standing there and held the door for us to walk out? This same gentleman. As I walked out, though, he gave me the same smile he had when he originally saw me, and as I walked past, he exclaimed, "Kids." So he had obviously heard the whole conversation, but he was understanding that at 4, there's not so many things that you can help. The last thing I want to talk about and leave you guys with is an acronym I heard at my Toastmaster speech that I attended. It was an acronym for LEAD. And I didn't think what an impact it would make until I realized I applied it to this class. The L is look. Look at what you have ahead of you, the goal that you want to obtain. Mine was getting through this class. The E is engage. Engage others to help. I engaged you guys, so I didn't know you at the beginning of this course. The shaking hands, the clapping when you came in, and the time that we all took, I felt, to get to know each other. We weren't groups, like they said, we were a class. And so I engaged the help of you guys to get me through this. The A is act. I acted on it. I did what I had to do. I did my speeches. I trembled my way through it. I overcame my obstacles, and I'm almost done. The last one is D. It's declare. Declare is declare thanks, and that's what I want to do today. I want to thank all of you guys for helping me not only get through this class, but overcome one of the biggest obstacles, that I've ever had to do in my entire life. 12 years of dealing with this, and I think that this class helped me overcome that. Thank you.